I should. I'm all good, I'm all good. Never knew I could. I'm all good, I'm all good. Feeling like I should. I'm all good, I'm all good. Never knew I could. I'm all good, I'm all good.
I feel like I ain't never felt before. I was locked up in my head, but I ain't got to fret no more. Like Kobe in his prime, I rep that 24. 7 days a week, we put up points, who's even keeping the score? Let's run it back. Kinda crazy where we at. Let me be me, let me rap. Rep that vision, it's a different map. Whip it down a less paved, singing on a different track. They know it's a different path.
What is going on? This is AlTone, and welcome to the very first video on this channel, AlTone RCPro. So, if you've been on any of my other channels, you know that my channels tend to have a little bit of a progression. And this particular channel is where I'm really going to be working on one specific project. And that is, of course, my RC plane. This guy was called the Carp like 56 or something like that, because this channel used to be Creative well, my previous channel that I actually flew this aircraft on was called Creative AlTone, which is now AlTone RC. But we've flown this guy, basically made out of foam board. There are some plans to rebuild the fuselage because I had some issues with the battery fitting and all of that, and we're actually going to do that. The fuselage was built around the wing, but I want to actually go a little bit further with the development of this particular aircraft. This one is going to be essentially the first essential prototype for the direction that I'm actually taking. If you've been following, you also know that I have started a community-based RC club where we talk about not just RC aircraft, but anything RC related, everybody's welcome kind of thing, where I try to use that as a platform to educate the community on drones and other things, as well as, you know, really present the options to youth of what this hobby has to offer as far as electronics, as far as design and working in CAD and all these different things that you can actually learn as a part of the RC hobby, but also have the opportunity to see what career paths that could take you into. Because me personally, even though I did actually enjoy or love the career path that I took personally, there were other options that I were not aware of, because as a youth, I was not able to really get into the RC hobby like I would have liked to. And it probably could have changed some things and given me even more enjoyable career path had I known about it. So on this channel, like I was saying, my intent is to rebuild this aircraft, and with a few purposes. One of the things is I'm actually involved in an air show at one of our local airports. It's a very small airport. I do actual commercial drone work for this particular airport, but we're also always looking for people to go out and fly their RC aircraft in between some of the full-scale demonstrations. Of course, all done safely and in an organized manner. But usually we have a bunch of aircraft out this size or larger, and we have some pilots that actually fly them around the runway and that kind of stuff. What we don't have at this moment is something that's going to really draw the interest of youth and adults outside of just simply flying an RC plane. I want to be able to show how much you can actually get involved in things that you can do, and especially the barrier to entry being as low as it currently is. I want to be able to demonstrate that. Demonstrate the capabilities of what someone like me, in my own office space, can actually build and develop and tinker with and try out. That could, for adults, be an outstanding way of escape, or for again for a kid, can build skills and knowledge that they can then take into a career in the future. So let's just talk about the aircraft real quick. And I actually have already chosen a new name for this aircraft after it's rebuilt. And once it's rebuilt and I start to go through everything on the aircraft, I will actually reveal what that name is. You're welcome to make some guesses down in the comment section. But or even suggestions. Maybe I'll change my mind. But we have a name for it already. And I've got some graphics that I'm going to be working on as well. I'm also going to be going through and redesigning the fuselage. So the fuselage is going to change, but it's going to be designed around this particular wing. The wing currently only has ailerons, but in the future, we're possibly, after we get this guy flying, we may go ahead and rebuild the wing and add flaps to it so it can take off and land in a much shorter distance than it currently is. I was thinking about switching it to a pusher design, which means your prop's going to be in the rear, but I've decided because it's actually more effective to be a tractor design, essentially where the prop and motor pulls the aircraft through the air versus pushing it. So that's the choice that I've made as far as the design. Now, this guy's going to have FPV on it, and I also plan on putting a camera on there also, and that's another FPV camera that will be able to capture video and actually send that video footage back out, like a scout vehicle, so to speak, just for demonstration purposes, because once this is done and I actually build out the full aircraft, I want it to be something I can take to the air show and we can actually display on a large screen what the camera is actually seeing, so the crowd can wave at it and see it, and again show that this is something that this is not something that a large company developed and put together, but something that a average person, hobbyist, could learn how to do and grow in knowledge and experience, that they could again take this into a career field in the future that could be beneficial to our community as well as our country. So let's talk about the aircraft and what it is I really want it to be able to do really quickly. First of all, I want it to be able to fly off of a 4S LiPo. No more than 6S, but I'm trying to keep it at a 4S or 4-cell LiPo battery size. I may decide to go up to 6, depending on if this guy gets any heavier than what it currently is, and I feel that I need the extra power in order for it to take off and land safely. Then, again, I want to have cameras, FPV feed on the front, and also a head tracking camera that I can actually put onto it in order to be able to, from the remote, control the camera and be able to get some nice little aerial video and photo of different areas and that kind of thing. Then the other thing that I want this plane to be able to do is I want it to be able to fly autonomously, which means I'm going to be putting in a flight controller, and this guy's going to be running Ardupilot. Ardupilot is a flight controller software that will allow you to change different characteristics of the plane, have it fly, take off, and land on its own, which is something that I want to do eventually. I've already flown this guy without landing gear, which means I had to hand launch it as large as it is, and I don't want to do that. I want it to be able to take off from the ground and land on the ground. I already have most of the components that are necessary in order for me to accomplish that, and that's what I will be doing. So I have a little bit of a learning curve. I'll be learning how to use Ardupilot and hopefully sharing some of that experience with you here as well. And I wanted to have a pretty good flight time, above 15-minute flight time. We'll have to do some calculations and stuff to figure that out. I'm hoping at least for a 30-minute flight time. So there's a lot of different things we're going to have to try to work out to make sure that happens. I think right now he is doing at least 10 minutes, if not 15-minute flight time on a relatively small 4-cell LiPo. And that's based off of my previous flights with this aircraft. So I'm looking forward to actually doing some more designing. My next step is going to be rebuilding the fuselage and flying it without a flight controller. But we're going to see what else we can get from it from that point. We also want to stay within a budget. We are actually using foam board for the majority, currently using foam board for the majority of the build of this plane. Like I said, this particular one is going to be our demo model, so to speak. It's going to be our first attempt at doing that. In the future, I may decide to start using composites. I may be reaching out to different companies to get some parts created or made to make this actually work well for the mission that I'm actually building it for. and actually draw some attention. I want you to be able to see the electronics in the aircraft and be able to, so that it's easy to explain in a STEM type environment, be able to explain how everything is working and how everything is actually connecting and speaking to each other, and how these different parts and systems are working together to make this guy be able to perform the mission in which it is that I am building it. And I will be doing some CAD design. This wing is actually already built out in Onshape. I'm learning Onshape, and that's currently the 3D CAD design program that I'm learning and I'm using in order to design any parts for this. I've done many other things, but there's some parts, especially the ribs of this wing, that are designed in Onshape, as well as the support structure is actually designed in Onshape around this particular wing. Now, the fuselage I did not design in Onshape yet. I may in the future, but right now I'll just be doing measurements and kind of measuring things out off the top of my head and making the fuselage the shape that I want it. Since this is foam board, I have plenty of foam board, I can just take my time and actually work that out. And most likely, unless I get another 3D printer, all of my 3D printed parts are going to be 3D printed from my Anacubic Cobra, which is my one 3D printer that I have here. As I start to design and work on even the ground station for this, I'll be 3D printing parts, because I have a Nanook case currently that I'm planning on putting the ground station or mounting the ground station in, so it's portable. Because I'm using a Tricode mini PC that was sent out to me, it's not only going to be the brains of the ground station for this aircraft, and where I'll be controlling as well as programming Autopilot in this aircraft, but it's also going to be a flight simulator in a case that I can carry out and be able to share that experience with others. They'll be able to sit down for my club, essentially, so they can sit down and start to learn how to fly an RC aircraft. Last but not least, I have to mention it. Radiolink has been a company that's been sponsoring my other channels for quite some time. Currently, the flight controller that I'll be using in this aircraft is from Radiolink. I've had it for a while, but I have not started doing the programming on that particular flight controller yet. It's very, very close to a Cube Orange Plus, which is eventually what I may go to, but if this particular flight controller does a great job for me, I may stick with it, because there are many flight controllers out there that will run Ardupilot and do a fantastic job and actually even get the type of functions out of the aircraft that you're actually looking for. So I've chosen to use Radiolink's flight controller, and also paired with their GPS, as well as a few other components that I'll be using. Most likely the radio system that I'm going to use, Radio Master. I'll most likely be using an Express LRS with a Radio Master radio, so that I can get some additional telemetry back from the aircraft. But I will be using electronics from Radiolink. Again, sponsor of my other channels, and essentially a sponsor of this one. Radio Master does not sponsor me at all. However, I've been using their products for quite some time, and EdgeTX is going to give me some additional programming that I believe is going to be necessary for me to get this aircraft to function the way I want it to. So essentially, this is, as we're starting this off, this is going to be the prototype of what I'm hoping to be a very nice aircraft that could be taken to different air shows and things like that for display purposes, and really show the youth as well as adults the kind of things that we're capable here in the U.S. of putting together and developing. The electronics may be coming from other countries and other places, but I'm hoping that as time passes, we'll also find that we have U.S.-based manufacturers that will be able to provide some of the electronics that we need in order to be able to do the same types of things. I would love for this aircraft to be able to find lost people in the woods and that kind of thing. I mean, really provide service to our community and to our country. Or if anything else, just inspire you to build that aircraft that would be very much beneficial to our services like fire department, police, government services, and what have you. So again, this is our first video. I have no idea how many videos or how quickly I'll be putting videos out on this channel. I'm gonna try to do things. My intent is to do things somewhat raw and uncut. I'm doing editing to this video because I'm just rambling off the top of my head what it is I want to share with you here. But I want to make sure that I do a good job of sharing with you or explaining exactly what it is I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Because I'm hoping that I'll inspire you to actually, even if it's not with RC aircraft, if it's with something else, it will inspire you to take that thing that you're passionate about, that you have skills for and that you have knowledge with, and be able to develop it and put it together in a way that's going to be beneficial to you as well as others around you. So thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I always say that, and I actually truly do appreciate you. And of course, if you'd like to contribute to the development and growth of this channel as well as what I'm doing, you're more than welcome to. I will be working on a few ways. You'll check the description of my videos. I'll be working on a few ways that if you'd like to donate or assist in some way, you will have the ability to do that. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down in the comment section. I really appreciate it. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.
Wiggling the tail, trying to straighten her out. She's flying a little bit better, or at least I'm getting used to it.
Yeah, I pull up when I'm summoned. Party never stopping, we gon' give them what they wanted. It's a line outside, let them in if they run it. Hey, party people on the left side, come on. Party people on the right side. Man, it's kinda feeling like a fire in the building. We gon' tear it up as soon as we get inside. It's a jam, party going up to the end. Everybody pulling out the cam, and they feeling like the band. And I'm feeling like the man.